Hey everyone, today we're going to look at the difference between nginx and Traefik for setting up a reverse proxy with Docker. For those not familiar with the two, nginx is a lightweight web server that was originally released in 2004. According to a Netcraft web server survey done in January 2022, 32.3% of websites are using nginx. Traefik, on the other hand, is relatively new. Founded in 2016, it's a cloud-native application that aims to take out the complexity of designing, deploying and operating applications. So first we're going to have a look at setting up nginx as a reverse proxy. In my Docker Compose file here, I've got the default nginx image, which is running on port 80. I also have the whoami image, which is also going to be running on port 80, and the Ghost blogging image, which natively runs on port 2368. So you can see here, I'm overwriting the default.conf file with my own. So the default.conf file is set up here. So you can see I have a couple of locations set up. I have one for Who Am I, and I have the other one for the Ghost blogging platform. You don't need to worry too much about settings. You can copy and paste them from my GitHub, which there's a link in the description of this video. You'll notice the proxy path parameter is referencing the Docker service name. This works whenever the Docker containers are running within the same Docker network. So let's run this Docker Compose file and see what it looks like. So I'm going to write Docker Compose -f and the name of my file and up. Great, so now that's all started, we can go to our browser, and if we go to our Who Am I, you should see it's running. It gives you all the information about the browser and everything else. And now, similarly, if we go to Ghost, we should see that running as well. Great, and there's our Ghost blog. If we didn't have nginx running as a reverse proxy, we'd have to have these set up on different ports. So say this is Who Am I, which is running on port 80, but we might have other services, so let's run this on port 8080. And for Ghost, we're running on port 2368. So we might have to run this on port 3001. So having a reverse proxy set up allows us to easily configure multiple services and have them running under different subfolders or even subdomains. Now the downside of nginx is there's no out-of-the-box way to set up new services automatically. Say I wanted to add another blog to this Docker Compose file. So if we copy this Ghost one, let's call it Ghost 2. To be able to set this up inside nginx, we'd also have to copy our Ghost location, set this up as Ghost 2, and then restart our service. Naturally, the community's found a way of getting around this limitation. If you do want to use nginx, I suggest you check out this GitHub nginx-proxy, which allows you to automatically pick up the Docker containers. Now, if we want to change our Docker Compose to use nginx-proxy, first we need to change the image. And then we're going to change the volumes to use Docker sock so that our container can access the other Docker containers on the system. Then we need to set up some environment variables on each of our containers so that nginx-proxy knows what to do. So here we have on our Who Am I container, we can set up the virtual host, which in our case is localhost, the virtual path, which is Who Am I, and the port that the container is running on, which is 80 in this case. And then we're going to do the same for Ghost and Ghost 2. And that's it. If we run this, we should find that each of our services is running correctly on each of the ports. So we have Who Am I running, Ghost running, and of course, Ghost 2. Traefik works in a very similar way to nginx-proxy. You can see here we've got the docker.sock added, so Traefik has access to the running Docker containers. Instead of environment variables, we're using Docker labels, so Traefik knows if a service is to be proxied. In a similar way, we can set up the port and the path, this time using a regex expression to specify the path. Now you also notice that we have port 80 set up for our proxy requests and port 8080. Now port 8080 is for the dashboard. Unlike nginx, Traefik gives us a dashboard view so we can see which services are set up and running. Now you can also see I've got a traefik.yml file set up. At the moment I'm just using the defaults that were specified on the Docker website, but if you have a look at their documentation there's a lot more settings there. So as before we have who am I that's working fine, ghost is also pointing to our ghost blogging image, and lastly on port 8080 we have our dashboard. So you can see here you get a nice view of which services have been set up, you can see which routers are running, and you can see here we've got our one working for Ghost as well as one for Who Am I. There isn't much you can actually do on the dashboard, but it gives you a nice overview of all the services. And also if, like me, you don't like lots of white services, you can use the dark theme as well. The last thing I want to show you is around Docker networks. At the moment I've only shown services configured in the same Docker Compose file. However, you can split services across multiple Docker Compose files and still have them running through one instance of Traefik or nginx-proxy. First, you need to create the Docker network. We do this with docker network create, and let's call our network home. Then we need to add that network to our Docker Compose files. First at the bottom we add networks, and then the name of our network, which in this case is home, and we're going to set it to external true. And then we need to add the network to each of our services. So let's do networks home, and then we're going to copy this onto each service. Now I've got another file with some services set up without Traefik here, so we've just got another Who Am I instance and another Ghost. This time it's called Who Am I 2 and Ghost 2. So again we're going to add this network to each of them. Great. So now we need to start each of these up, and then we should be able to see them coming through in Traefik. First we start up the Traefik along with the other two services that are in that file. And now I'm going to create another console and start the one that's just got the services in it. Great, now we're going to go to our dashboard. Let's give this a refresh. You can see here we've got 8 services running. You can see it's coming through on Who Am I 2, and we've got our Ghost 2 as well. And we'll just double check that these work. Go Who Am I, refresh that one. Who Am I 2, working fine. Ghost and Ghost 2. That's it for today's demo. I hope it was useful. There's a link below to the GitHub so you can find the code for this. And if you found this useful, please click subscribe and like the video. And this is quite a new channel, so it really helped me out. Thank you.